Good day to everybody. Welcome to another episode, a podcast of the Indian Esports Show. I'm your host, Trikurexia, and today we have below me is what? Okay, that sounds very wrong. Below me in this video is Wasif, as you see from the interview, which we're
That also
taking with
sounds very
him.
wrong.
It is what it is what it is now. I have to be honest. We have to have a bit of humor because then people will watch, surprisingly. And here we've got somebody who's coming for the first time on a podcast, Priyanshu Tiwari from gossip.gg. Priyanshu, please introduce yourself to the masses and tell us about you because you are only seen at events. You're not seen online. So let us know about you.
Yeah. So myself, Priyanshu Tiwari, and my handles are Demon Viking. So I go by my in-game name Demon Viking, and I recently started working in the esports industry as a content writer for Gossip.gg, and I'm a bit new as compared to the veterans you can see on the screen. So still in the learning phase,
Hmm.
and I just hope to have fun on this podcast.
Thank you so much for your time over here to come over here. And mind I added you, these two people, we all three met in Bangalore this year. So it was very nice to see everybody in different capacities. But immediately getting, and you might be seeing from the title of this video, we are going to be talking about BGMI. Now, mobile esports in India is quite big. Let's just be honest. It's one of the biggest things which is there. Even talking to people, they are like, they believe mobile esports in India is like your सात जन्म का रिश्ता. But anyhow, we go into this, and before we get to the main tournament event, the official event, which will be happening next week, let's just track back a bit. We had few third-party events which are taken by the BGF, BGMS, your Upthrust, your Reliance event as well. And Priyanshu, like a fan, from being a fan of BGMI and stuff, what did you learn from these events? Or what did you see that was like surprising to you?
These third-party events like BGMS and all, sorry, BGMS and all. The My favorite part is that even though they have a particular set of invited teams over there, the open qualifiers give chance to all the newcomers to these tournaments. And over the period of time, we have seen how the newcomers have helped in shaping the industry at a large scale. So these third-party events, in my opinion, uh, play a crucial role in building. Sorry for this.
No, it's just that you believe that the third party events just give a form of exposure which is needed for these players because
Which is needed for this, but then we have seen quite a bit of third party events that in a throughout the day we see the teams playing three or four tournaments back to back,
yeah,
and sometimes we also lose the track that, oh, this is also going on,
yeah.
and we are just the calendars are filled with the third party events,
Hmm.
which is nice for newcomers so that they get an exposure. But then I feel it is just a loop we are just going on. We just wake up, we play, the teams play first event, then go for the second one, third, fourth, fifth, and that goes on and on. But then what's next? My question is like, how are we going ahead with that thing? Are we just stuck in the loop of third party events? Because while the teams are performing well in the domestic circuit, will the third party events or competing amongst each other help them improve and showcase their skill sets at the global level? Because we don't have anything right now like in PUBG Mobile days where we had the opportunity to scrim or play against the Indonesian teams either in a lobby like scrim lobbies or in a regular matchmaking. We don't have that facility right now, and while we are uh, able to what we say uh, improve our skill sets at a domestic level, the threshold is way above that. So
Hmm.
I'm just looking forward to see something where these teams get an opportunity to play against the international teams, and we can build up our skill set accordingly.
I mean, what you said is absolutely right because it has been brought out about like the different rules. And Vasav, I think so you can go more in detail about that because you have been covering BGMI since PUBG Mobile days. You've been covering like the entire Pacific side of it. So for you, like when you have seen like previously when we competed in international tournaments, I think so we came the highest we came was third or fourth. I'm not so sure. I don't remember the dates.
Second,
We came second, yeah. So over there,
yeah.
ideally, Wasif, do you feel like this restriction which is there, where we are seeing local talent facing local talent, is going to bite us sooner than later?
Well, I think it's even if you look at the global PUBG Mobile ecosystem, most of the teams do just face local talent in the majority of the year. And
Okay.
one major region for this is China. I think, in comparison to the Indian esports ecosystem and the Chinese esports ecosystem, for PUBG Mobile, it's very similar. We both have separate games which feed into the global tournaments. So China, like India, they have had the continuity over the past 3 years, unlike India, where we got 2 game bans. Despite that, the performance of Chinese teams is next level. So just blaming it all on exposure, I think it's wrong. It's more of the how the entire ecosystem functions and how players are nurtured.
So do you feel these, like, we have seen like a situation, BGMI came out, there were like 5 tournaments, like how Priyanshu said, there were like 4 or 5 tournaments in a day. Do you feel this is helpful for players, or this would actually backfire? Because I remember there was an event at 11 o'clock in the night. I remember one of my friends was covering the event at 11. I'm like, what is happening over here? Is this like overburdened, or just like, okay, we've got an opportunity, let's just do whatever we can?
I don't think I can speak from the player's perspective, but from the ecosystem perspective, yeah, it does, it attracts viewer fatigue. There's no one who will, watch 5 tournaments in the same day. And the stake of a particular tournament, it will also get reduced. But from the perspective of the player, I would think it's the same thing. I can't exactly speak for them.
Yeah. But I mean, I can understand, like, it's clearly like, I think so over here there was another podcast. I'm not going to name them because not going to get any publicity from here. But one of the owners of an Indian organization said, third party events, anybody can win them, and he shrugged them off and he just kept the thing on official events. Priyanshu, do you feel that is fair? Because in my eyes, I mean, any tournament is a tournament at the end of the day. We recently just saw Seoul, like a third party event, Seoul or Seoul, Team Seoul, winning 2 of them in a day, which just goes to show like they realize that they put this effort or they want to be better wherever they can. Be it practice, be it not practice. So, what are your feelings on this, Priyanshu, this statement?
Uh, I feel like if I'm trying to think from the perspective of the owner over there, it is just that when you are playing an official tourney like BGIS, which is coming, the
Hmm.
stakes are pretty high. At the end of the BGIS, top 8 teams will be playing against Korean teams in a tournament. So
Oh.
over there, the stakes are pretty much higher, and
Hmm.
they'll be given much more opportunity than just the recognition. The third party events I feel are good for the newcomers because it will give them an exposure. But then for the teams who are already there in the ecosystems, they after playing 2 3 events in a day, they just try to. I feel they just try to keep it as a practice and then work upon it so that they can do well in the official tourney, where the stakes are pretty much higher as compared to the third party tournaments.
So ideally, it is actually helpful. Like, I mean, there's a certain hindrance where you can tell, like, okay, it's not an official, so we can brush it off. But that brushing off gives you data. Like, we all know how crucial right now VODs have become, how suddenly drop zones have become suddenly a hot topic or hotspots. I don't know what you call that, and that entire shenanigans which is happening. And might I add here, like, a very nice thing to say over here is it's a battle royale. You can literally go anywhere. There's no rule key. You come here, you have to go there, you need to be there. You can either play passive or you can go for kill. That's why there are 2 different point systems which is there. And I mean, we
Hmm.
get into this, we get into the officials, and now if you go into officials, BGS has been going around for like a lot of weeks now. Quite, I don't know how many weeks. It's like what, since
Yeah, yeah.
August? It's been going on since August, like since like the 2000 teams being there to getting down. We are in like the
Hmm.
final 32 and final 32. And I would like to know this, like, as journalists, like Wasif, for you, this tournament, the BGIS, is the creme de la creme in India. Like, because the game came back and we announced an official. But how much is the actual weightage of this event for like a team, or like for like just bragging rights? Like, how crucial is this event?
In terms of bragging rights,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, it's the biggest event for BGMI esports. So yeah, the bragging rights are as such, and the winner probably will qualify for the TMGC, hopefully. So yeah, the stakes are very high as compared to other events.
I mean, the stakes do be high, but then this, like, the players have been grinding it out. We can see like the vlogs, we can see everything coming out, the coaches interacting with their players and stuff. But is this official event going to be the start or something, like a little bit of like the burner, that there are like 16 teams who qualify for the grand final, and from there will be certain teams who are very much unknown, who have got little to no backing, or they might have certain amount of backing. Do you feel like this exposure of such an official event, being there at the top, even getting to the semifinals, is quite crucial for these players? Priyanshu, what do you feel?
It is like over here we saw that the firstly with the grind few teams qualified for the BGIS main event, and then we had open qualifiers in Indian qualifiers and all, and because of which we saw many teams entering and competing against the old dogs which are there. We have seen in the past that after a team is performing well, the best example I can give is Cells. They
Okay.
did an amazing job while competing against the veterans which were there, and they made their name in the game
Hmm.
in such events. They even had an opportunity to represent India in the event where Orange Rock was second. Uh, while competing against other nations. So these events will help the what we say newcomers to, as you said that as a bragging right that we were in the top 16, and maybe the scouts will be keeping an eye on these players or on these teams so that in the future, or maybe if they are orgless as of now, they might get an opportunity later under a new banner.
That's fair. I mean, that's what happens. You see some player. That's why the tier two
Hmm.
system is so important, and even in our region,
Hmm.
because I believe in India, we are a tier two nation who's building up to be a tier one nation. In esports, it's going to take time. Be it any sport, we
Hmm.
might have the skill. And for the people, apologies for my health. I'm down with a sore throat, but I still needed this episode to get recorded. So apologies. But I wanted to even bring this out. We talk about these underdog stories. And Wasif, I want to bring this out because it is been a contention and it has been recently brought out in another game. And I want to bring this out in BGMI. We have heard the salaries, we have heard the money that has been invested. We know for a matter of fact the minimum a player needs to have, or that was stated in another podcast by the likes of Scout and Mortal, stated this that you will need the minimum salary for newcomer is 50,000, and you need the latest iPhone because the iPhone has the best graphics. So that's already an investment of a minimum of 2 lakhs, like a ground minimum of 2 lakhs. Do you feel that's quite an overkill or that is fair and just?
Yeah, I think we're talking about the entire ecosystem here. So,
Yeah.
and over the past 4 or 5 years, that has been the case. But as much as we can say that it's unsustainable, it's still working, and teams are still investing money. And I don't think that salaries being high is a Indian only phenomenon
Yeah.
where the salaries are not proportional to the income being
Hmm.
generated. It's
Yep.
something that has been seen globally, especially with the League of Legends esports ecosystem.
Yep.
So yeah, one solution to that is salary caps, but I think North America struggles with that because you get hit with antitrust, the laws. So yeah, the right now I don't think that it's a big problem, but over the past next few years, as we move on to a more sustainable ecosystem, once BGMI esports the entire roadmap is more structured, then yeah, that is something that should be focused on. And I don't think that we in as a TO capacity or individual esports org owners can do much about it. It should come from Crafton side ideally, because
I
they
mean,
are the kings of the ecosystem. They
I mean
control
that
everything.
that's the thing which is happening in Valorant right now. Like Riot has put like a minimum threshold and a maximum threshold for each player, salary wise. Like, okay, your
Is
base
there a
salary.
maximum threshold?
I have
I
heard that
don't know about that.
I have heard that there
It
is
should.
a
I don't.
maximum.
I don't think. I think there
There
must be
is a
only a minimum threshold.
there is a minimum, and I know there's a maximum, because after that, if you like, because they're trying to like in Pacific there was one. That's what I've heard. Like last year there was one which was placed, and I'm not going to tell that figure out because it's not public information. But we talk about like publishers having a lot of like, and that is fair. I think so. At this point, we talk about that, but I think so. Now we're going to get to a part where I think we need to have a discussion, because, in my opinion, I find this too much, and that is the toxicity that's happening right now between the teams in BGMI. And this is a very common thing that it's taken an ugly turn now again after many years in BGMI. Priyanshu, as a fan previously, you have seen this controversies happen. And now as you are there as a journalist or like as a writer, what for you, how do you see it now differently? And what is your opinions about this? Because it's just getting a bit too much in my eyes. But what do you feel?
Mhm. Previously, like when the controversies were a part of this ecosystem, it has been there since day one. And at that time, I used to follow it, like what's going on and everything. But it has been too much. Like it goes on every day, a new controversy comes in, and people talk about it, we see tweets, posts, and everything. That even as a writer, you feel like, what the hell is going on? Is this really a thing to be is this really controversial, or is it really worth the time that creators or the org owners they are investing? They should, I guess, they should work somewhere else, like in a particular way where they can help in building a proper structure to their team instead of going live and discussing these controversies and all. And after a while, once you started following the ecosystem, the esports industry and everything, you get tired even to just uh, tune into the streams. And that's why don't have any idea about what exactly people are saying. I just get to know it from my fellow friends or some tweets which are made. So yeah, it's tiring, I feel, and a bit misleading for the viewers, because it just gives an impression that this is something which is normal to do, like to comment on something, to troll people in a negative way, and create controversies which might affect the upcoming players, who might think that yeah, this is a good way to get limelight.
I mean, Vasif, you are literally working in PR and you realize how certain situations can turn ugly, even though it's not meant, and if it's taken out of context, it's like a mountain out of a molehill. And many a times we've seen that happen. For you, as a person who's handling in PR, when these situations happen, what is your first thought? Like, imagine if like if an org you're working for, your PR, suddenly there's an issue just happening here. What is the first thing for you? Like, how would you deal with it?
There's the right answer and there's the PR answer for that.
I mean, give the answer which would be politically correct if you want to. You can give an honest answer because I think so. It is getting to a point where it's like, okay, what is happening over here? We are seeing owners fighting with owners, players suddenly targeting somebody else, and it's like a merry-go-round happening over here. So, what do you feel as a PRV? Is it like a complete disaster which is taking place in front of our eyes, or it's something that you can make money out of?
Yeah, no, I think banter is something that is welcome, but what is happening is not banter. And the first thing that in a hypothetical
Technically.
situation,
Yeah.
the first thing that comes to mind is how is this situation affecting me and my stakeholders. So when you
Okay.
talk about stakeholders, you're talking about sponsors, talking about potential investors, right?
Yep.
But the thing is, the reason why this doesn't happen much in the Western scenario as opposed to Indian scenario is because of the cancel culture in the West, wherein brands identify the sponsors that they have, sorry, the sponsors that they give out
Yeah.
as a core, brand value for them. So that is not the case in India.
Okay.
So even though these public bashes are happening, the thing is that brands don't care about it, and orgs know that there is no financial incentive being decreased for them. So they are on Twitter doing whatever they want. But I think once the ecosystem develops, you see more non-endemic brands come into the space. Anything you put out, if you put out a tweet, if you're an org owner or a responsible, a public figure for the org, as soon as you put out a tweet, ideally what will happen is the brand will call you. Okay, what is this person of your org doing?
Okay.
Why are you doing this? They're harming our brand, and this is
True.
harming our sponsorship deal. And this can be a reason for us not to look at this in the future. So I think once the ecosystem matures, that will happen ideally, and these things will sort of reduce. And I think it's reduced in the sense over the past, if you compare it to 2018, 2019,
Yeah.
when there were people saying like, very, very bad things on stream. That
Yeah.
has reduced significantly because the industry has matured. And yeah, the thing happening right now, it's just funny, honestly. And the only harm I see, it's not for the harm of the ecosystem, it's for the harm of the fans. I think people should realize, especially people in positions where they have millions of subscribers, the kind of effect they have on younger audiences, and that is what they're kind of showcasing. I think younger audiences in general don't have many good role models in the world we live in today, in the world of the internet, and this is not helping with that. So from the ecosystem perspective, it's not the last controversy. There will be more, but we'll pull through.
I mean, what you said is brilliant because it's to the point. It's actually to the point because you normally worry about your brand value, but if your brand has no value till now, it's free for all. But I mean, that is not something. I mean, I'll say this story. I've been approached like one of my editors for one of the people who I work for. they asked me what is happening in India because they are seeing it on Twitter. And I didn't want to demean or put down our nation, be like, oh, this is a very common thing. And I just said, like, it's like a, I try to give like a very politically correct answer. But as a person who we work with international publications, it feels weird and it feels sad that we are only known for our controversies. It's never a situation that we are known for a player doing well, or we are never known for like, hey, this guy did so well. Like everything is like, oh, it's about this, oh, it's this issue, oh, it's that issue. Like, for example, I don't want to go around this bush again, but like even like when G suddenly got why all the noises were around, that was simply because, oh, there's hacking allegations against them. Oh, the female lineup did something, something, something. And these allegations, all of that, it might have affected them. And I feel bad for them as well. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be known for that. And I think so that is what I think so that is what they are trying, be it all the orgs. Like I think so like the major orgs right now would be Soul, SA2L, so sorry, SA2L, G, Godlike, and the others who are there. There are many other things. I am not so sure. I'm really sorry about that. But they are trying, and I think so. You rarely see that. I think so. Revenant did this one thing, and you know this in Valorant, where they have like a very banterous video. It was just like banter. It does not mean like I'm trying to disrespect you, but suddenly everybody took insult to that and like, how can you do this? How can you do that? That is not banter. And I'm like, no, they did it actually in a very respectful way. They didn't insult anybody
You saw
personally.
the tweet yesterday of a certain other org.
Yeah,
That is
I saw that. I saw that, and I was like, yeah, the hypocrisy over there was like, lad, y'all literally,
It's very blatant. It's very blatant. You can't
yeah,
say that and have that put out on a separate.
yeah. I was just like, what Revenant did, and I'm not going to say I'm a fan of Revenant or I have anything to do with Revenant, but what
You
they
can
did was
say that.
very.
It's not a problem.
I am not a fan of Revenant. I support Arsenal. Thank you. But no, point being is this. They did in a very respectful way, not being personal to anybody, just playing around with the logos, and that was fine. That was banter. We all thought as a joke and we left it. And then you take issues with that, then I'm just like, lad, there's going to be never a situation where there are jokes. And there's a thing in WWE, and this was brought up by somebody, and I would like to rephrase this. Controversies and storylines can be made. Money can be made in this. It's a very easy thing to do. WWE works that way. It's a scripted thing, but the script is there. If you can have a storyline like Ronaldo versus Messi, you have that. And it was never like the players said anything bad. They obviously had jabs, but it was never so toxic that one person talked about the other person's family. It never went to that or you insult somebody else's. And competition is healthy. And when it's healthy, it's good. And now I know I've gone on a bit too long. So we're going to go into the next topic, which is there of BGIS and the top 5 teams to watch out. Or I mean, Priyanshu, who do you feel are the top 5 teams or your top 5 teams who will get to the LAN and why? Or top three.
first
Go with
I'll
top three.
top three. Okay,
Yeah.
so top three. One will be for me Team Soul because I'm a big fan from
Okay.
day one, and plus we have just to we have seen that the first day wasn't the ideal start for them, but then slowly and steadily we have seen that uh, this has been a ritual or something which they have done in the past tournaments, wherein the officials they barely made it into finals, but then they just outperform everyone's in the finals. So if that's the storyline, then I don't mind it. But then I'm feeling confident that they will do well in the semis also, and hopefully they will be the top in the top three for the BGIS finals also. Then another team I would count on is Gladiator Esports. They had done a phenomenal job in the past few tournaments. They were the winners of BGIS, and so I feel they are gonna do well, give tough competition to everyone, including Team Soul. And another one will be Medal Esports, because they do have experienced players, those who have represented India previously when PUBG Mobile was there, including what is it, Paradox over there, and Encore. So I feel these teams will be my go-to teams for to look out for.
And Wasif, for you, the top three?
I think we can't predict a top three when you're having a LAN event in front of a live audience. The
No,
pressure
top
will
three teams
play a lot.
to qualify for the finals.
To qualify, all of the main teams I think will qualify. You've got Revenant, you've got God's Reign, you've got Gladiators. What else is there? Soul. I think all of these they will be there
So
eventually.
you just feel like, I mean, a LAN event.
I'm just here. I'm looking forward to maybe going down for the LAN event in Esco.
I can't wait
having
for
a
that.
good time.
Did you just leak the place where it's going to be happening by any chance? Because I have not heard Nesco to be
No,
the
it's
spot.
it's announced. Oh no, it's not in Nesco. Sorry,
in,
it's in this.
It's a dome. The dome.
it's in
Yeah, the
stadium.
dome.
It's a dome.
Yeah.
It's a dome. It's
NSCI
announced.
or NSIC?
Yeah.
NSCI.
Let them announce it. But yeah, I was like Nesco. I'm
It's
like,
announced. It's announced.
no, I know it's announced, but it's like
It's
people have mixed up the place. But yeah, the top five teams we talk about them, and I think so. One thing which we have to, I would like to say this as somebody who doesn't watch that much of BGMI. I am now trying to learn about it. I must say this: the one team who I think so has been dealing with, and count me if I'm wrong, I'm not going to be aware, is Seoul has handled their situation quite well with the situation with Goblin not playing, with like the fans telling why is he there, and them telling like, look, there are five players, the game only allows four. Like I think so, they have been able to handle that situation quite methodically, if I have to be honest. And I think so. I hope to see more of that from other teams as well. Vasa, do you feel the same? I can't ask Priyanshu though because he's a
Yes, yes.
fan. He's good. He's going to be biased as hell. So I
Hey,
can't.
No,
but
no,
then I still follow them a lot so that I am eligible to answer. That's
No,
not fair.
you are. But yeah, Vasif, please.
yeah, the benefit that Soul has is that their org is bigger than their players. Now, you might say that all orgs are bigger than their players, but there are orgs which are just known for certain players.
Yeah,
But Soul has this, the brand value that they've created behind the name of Soul,
yeah.
in which it doesn't matter if they pick like four school students and put them playing as Soul Esports. People will come and watch Soul Esports play. That is the value that they've created. So they have this benefit to jumble around their rosters and try different things out, which is what is working for them.
And Priyanshu, talking about Soul, I will just ask you this. As a fan, what got you into Soul? Was it the brand value, or was it the players, or what was it?
Uh, I guess we all started, like those who started watching PUBG Mobile esports were in 2018, 2019. I started watching all the tournaments and everything happening. Then we know Mortal became a big name at that time. And I was looking out I was like really eager to watch him play on LAN. And in the first two LANs, the team did very well. Mortal did very well. And, it's just the emotional attachment which most of us have for Team Soul over here. So
Mhm.
I guess and from there the brand value also uh, started taking a big jump for them.
I mean that's nice to you. I mean that's how like the storylines and how you build the
Mm,
connection. You resonate with the player and then you resonate with the team because in any sport
mm,
there will be the team will be there forever. The players might not be there forever. Loyalty is a very rare thing to see. But we talk about loyalty, and now it begins. This one small thing as well I want to bring up. Do you feel this game requires a transfer season? Because I'm hearing buyouts being there left, right, and center. Tournaments are going on, and players things are still getting can buy teams. Like they can literally buy a team while a tournament is going on, or there's certain regulations you have to follow. But or certain players can be poached out. Like we saw Godlike now release S Power. Was it S Power? I think it's S Power who got released and they got back Clutch God from Newman, and they have now told this thing. And I'm telling about Godlike not in a harsh way because I believe what they have done is I think so the next step which is going to happen with most teams who have like an original lineup. They've kept their core roster and just stated this that these people will play. If they don't perform well, everybody is gone. But everybody is not gone from Godlike, they're gone and become content creators similar to like the other players in the past who have become professional to content creators. Do you see this as a very good thing, Priyanshu, or you feel like this is like, okay, this could backfire, this plan by Godlike?
the plan about transferring the players while the tournament is going on, that
No, the plan of like if you don't do well, putting stakes like if you don't do well, you're straight content creators. You will not be able to play professionally under us.
I mean, they do have this what we say flexibility because when you are a professional player, people, the fans, they do ask that please stream your scrims POV or just classic matches and all.
Hmm.
They have this cushion to lay on, but then it does backfire with the fact that the opportunities which players might be looking for to compete in a professional scenario that might get reduced.
Hmm.
So maybe they could ask the players that now you are a restricted free agent, or you can look for opportunities instead of just working as a content creator. And by that thing, they can also pursue the content creation thing, which is asked by Godlike or any other org for them, and then they can pursue look for the opportunities somewhere else.
I mean, that would be actually a very nice thing. And I think so it would work out in their favor. I feel like it makes sense. It's like a transitional thing from like being a professional player to a
Mhm.
content creator just to increase your longevity in the industry. But Vasif, you talked about brand value of orgs. Till now, there are only certain players who have had like a brand value under them. Why do you feel that is the case? And is there anybody who you feel, or Priyanshu, after Vasu, you can tell about this, who you feel is the next name who are going to see like somebody like Jonathan, somebody like Mortal, who is going to, or Scout, who are going to have these brand value behind them. We saw Scout and ICC World Cup ad. Like, I mean, people might say it's a small thing, but it is a big thing. It's like somebody from our industry who's been put into like the mainstream. So, what do you feel?
Scout and Jonathan, they have the most brand values right now behind in level with Mortal. So that's a different thing. But yeah, brand value is it's very important for orgs. And if you look at the global scenario, how certain orgs have built it, I think one example would be 100 Thieves, in which they had a player, Nate Shot, and then he
Yep.
went on to found the org, and he was kind of like the face of the org. Same with Loud Esports. Loud Esports and SA2L, I think if you compare them, Loud is,
Mhm.
it's a Latin American org. It's a Brazilian
Yeah.
org. So a lot of people don't know about them. But just, looking at their growth, it's next level. They're one of the biggest orgs, which, people don't talk about much. So yeah, replicating those formulas in which, you recognize who are the the people who are bringing audience in your orgs and promoting them to be the face of the orgs will over a long term help to bring the brand value to the organization as a whole. And you need content creators, you need esports players, both for that. You need to be public, you need to have collaborative content, which a lot of orgs are focusing on right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
for an Indian scenario, I think people are still figuring it out on how to go about that.
Hmm.
But yeah, that is how you get it done. I think look at Loud Esports, look at SA2L, look at 100 Thieves.
I mean, I would ask you this: who is the next person we should be watching out for, in your opinion? Who is going to be like the next big thing in like the esports side of things, but in as a brand? Who is the next player we should be watching out for?
I might be biased here, but that is always because I know of some of the plans. But that would be Revenant Esports in terms of their, the overall outlook. They recently picked up funding from Tiger Shroff as well. So yeah,
Yep.
that is an org which has immense potential. And because I'm biased toward Revenant Esports, I will say another name, which is Orangutan Esports. I know many of the people over there. What happened? They're very
No,
professional.
I
And
didn't know that there's a
yeah,
correlation between orangutan and revenant. That is what caught me off guard. I was like, huh?
there's no
That's
correlation per se. You're talking about orgs which are building brand value.
even players.
And Revenant and
I'm
org,
curious to know a player's name, a player who we could be watching out for.
I honestly don't have much idea about that. I look at
Priyanshu,
just the
do you
orgs,
have it?
what is happening.
So for orgs, you've got Revenant and Orangutan. And Priyanshu, for players, who do you feel could be like this next brand name we are going to see?
I think anyone who wins BGIS, the
Yeah,
MVP over there, that player needs to be leveraged by the org.
Okay.
And yeah, they'll probably go on to represent India on the world stage. And you have, I think, a 3-month period to just milk it out as much as you can.
Priyanshu, do you have any other than the hypothetical winner of BGIS? Because I want to know a player because I am curious to know because I hear nobody. I don't hear any name
I
which
think
is
we're too
there who's
young of an ecosystem right now to. But yeah,
yeah,
Priyanshu.
because I feel that we started the tournament with 2048 teams, and now we are shortened it to 32 teams,
yeah.
and the players are like it's a raw talent. It is difficult to actually state out the next big
Thing.
thing, maybe who can become a scout, Jonathan or Mortal. I
Okay.
feel we are still figuring. I still believe that we are still figuring it out because those who are able, I felt before that sells the team, sells rocks, and everyone might be there for a in the esports professional side while they'll compete at a tier 1 level for a longer period of time. But then I feel over the time someone or will replace you in the esports side of thing, and you have to work day and night to actually keep your name on the top. So someone who will be able to do that will be the next big face for at least BGI, BGMI, or the Indian esports. And it applies for all this titles, whether it be Valorant or in Free
Hmm.
Fire when it comes back,
Yeah.
or in BGMI.
And I mean, we talk about this, and I mean, we are coming towards the end, so I want to bring this up. After BGIS, we've got the Sky Masters. I think it's called Sky
Sky
Masters, right?
Sports Championship
Okay.
5.0.
Yeah, thank you.
The
Thank you. I
longest
didn't know
running esports IP for 5 years
tagline.
back to back.
This
Yes.
is,
Tagline.
but we had to bring this up because there could be a situation where three of us are going to be meeting over there. Maybe I might be coming there to cover the event, so will Priyanshu and Wasif will be there, making sure that we are covering the event. But point being is, Wasif, you all have, being honest, Sky has put a lot into this. All like, they all are aiming for a big thing. You all are going for the same place you all had the Masters event as well. And we were there, we three were there, Masters as well, and we saw how the seating arrangement is. Do you feel right now there is a possibility if BGIS does well, Sky Esports will benefit from it, and we might see an entire the core Mangalore indoor stadium being fully packed? Do you feel that can actually happen?
Yeah, I think BGIS, it's the scale of the event. We are seeing this after PMCO, I think, fall in 2019.
Yep.
So that will be the first big LAN event in 4 years.
Yep.
Then after that, the Sky Sports Championship. I think the Sky Sports Championship is a 5-day. And we have never seen a BGMI esports LAN event with a live audience of this scale before. Okay. So yeah, it's hard to predict the type of the audience we will get, but yeah, it's going to be something to look out for and experience in the arena at Koramangala Indoor Stadium, because the setup, it's like the PMCO Spring Global Finals in the PMCO Spring
Berlin.
India Finals in Delhi.
Okay, in Delhi.
So
that had
was fall. That was fall, I guess. That was fall.
No, fall. It was fall.
Actually, they
forgetting.
No.
Yeah,
if I'm not wrong, they took the inspiration from PMCO Spring Split in Berlin, if I'm not wrong, and from there where Team Soul represented, and from there they brought it to Delhi for the PMCO's Fall Split. We saw over there, and I'm actually excited for that setup because it just gives me goosebumps, a kind of a nostalgia feeling seeing that.
Yeah, and it's the core, I think, PUBG Mobile esports setup. I remember I did an interview with James Yang, I think 1 year ago, and every time I've talked to him, he's mentioned 3 things: mobility, accessibility, and one more thing, I'm forgetting the third thing. So if you look at the setup, what they're trying to show basically is that there are 4 players, there are 4 friends sitting in a sofa together and competing. That's the kind of idea that they want to push. So while I can't say what type of setup we will have at the Skyesports Championship, it will be different, of course. Yeah, but that will be something to look out for.
I mean, we have come towards the end of this, and I would just say this for people I have never seen. I've not seen any of this, so I'm just going to be blunt away and say that I don't know what will be happening at Championship, sorry, but I'm very much excited. And for everybody who likes BGM, I hope you could understand and learn from this and understand the different perspectives that come from it. Do follow these people on their social. I'll put it down there. And I'll just say all at the end about this. Toxicity and competition, healthy competition is good. Toxicity is not. So if you can avoid, stay away from it, because trust me, your mental health will be better, or otherwise, like me, you'll have to go to therapy. So yeah, other than that, stay safe, be happy, and yeah, see you all at BGIS. Bye-bye.
Yes. And be a bit toxic. He's wrong about that.
Little bit of banter.